Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michael Floyd, and I am joined with Julianne Zuniga, and we are going to be talking about Kahoot today. A little bit about us. I teach second grade at Lister Elementary, and Julianne teaches fifth grade at Heather Glenn. In our classrooms, I have 10 iPads that are dispersed about 22 students, and Julianne can check out up to 20 for about 28 students. So you're probably going to hear a lot about the iPads being shared with groups. We have the computer lab as well, but it doesn't give us everything that we need in our hands on a daily basis. Today we're going to be talking about Kahoot and some of the tools that you can use. It's great for both whole group and small group. I use it a lot during my small group, and it helps, just a quick little assessment before they're done, kind of an exit ticket. First off, I need to make sure everyone can hear me. If you can hear me, just go ahead and say okay. If not, just let us know and type into the comments for us. So we're going to talk about how you create some Kahoots, how you use them in class, how I use them in class. But one thing that we need to know, it is free. It is used by millions of people around the world to create, to discover, play, and share learning games. One of the great things is the ability to create and choose the content you want to use. And hopefully by the end of the webinar today, you'll get an overview of the program and how to implement it in your classroom. ISTE.org describes their standards as a roadmap to help students become empowered learners. And these standards will deepen your practice, promote collaboration with peers, challenge you to rethink traditional approaches, and prepare students to drive their own learning. Kahoot hits almost every level from the educator perspective, from leading the way in using education to analyzing data to drive instruction. And we're going to talk a little bit about how you can get started with Kahoot. And so we're going to start here. And the good thing about it is you can use your Garland ISD email to log in. You just go to the sign in with Google, and you will type in your credentials. Mine are already on the computer, so it sets me up pretty quick. But the good thing is you can use those, and you can get set up without having to remember a password, without having to remember anything like that. It should be your Garland ISD credentials. Before you get started, if you're going to use it on a mobile device, make sure that you have the most up-to-date version of Kahoot. And that way, everything that you're using will actually load faster. You'll get all the bells and whistles that come with the new app. I'm going to start here. And the best way to do this, and the way that I usually do this, is I look at the tools that are already there. You don't always have to reinvent the wheel, but you can if you want to, and we'll talk about how we can do that a little bit later. But make sure you create the account. And the easiest way, like I said, is to start the Kahoot and find games that are already there. So in my class right now, we're talking about addition and subtraction with regrouping. So I can go and I can type in addition with regrouping. I spelled it wrong, sorry about that. And it'll actually pull up ones that are already made. Let's see, here's one. And what I like to do is I'll go into these, and there are a couple of different ways. You can play and then as a class, or you can challenge your students later. I do some of this where I can attach this to Google Classroom, and so I will challenge them, and it'll give me the opportunity to upload it to Google Classroom. But there's a couple of things about just what it's telling us. There are the title, and then it has a description. So basic facts along with 2- and 3-digit and without regrouping. So there's a couple of things in here that you can see. Then you can go back and you can look at the tags. You have math, addition, subtraction, regrouping. I'm not going to read them all to you, but the tags help you find what you're looking for. And then, of course, you have the play and the challenge. Then you can preview it. And you can figure out if you want to play classic, which is 1-to-1, or team. And team is what I use most in class, because that way they can actually work with partners or work with a group to do to answer all the questions. So you can get into your teams, and then this is just the preview of it. And so it doesn't give us a game pin or anything like that yet, but this is what you'd be looking at. So it's going to connect to it. We can give it a team name. Sorry about the sound. That's what you're going to hear. And then you can, oh, naughty nicknames. I'm going to go back and we're going to look at all the other aspects that go along with it. Sorry, some difficulties here. Now, this will tell you that it has 25 questions. It's been played over 20,000 times. It's had over 150 or 149,000 players. It's been favorited, almost 2,000 times. So this is one that will give you some ideas of how many times it's been used. Here are the questions that you'll see. So you can check and see, is this going to be too hard for my kids? Is it going to be too easy? Is it really going to be the standard that we've covered yet? And so all of that is available in the preview for you to look at. What I do is I will go to challenge, and then I will set it to go from a week from now, because some of my kids only have access at school to Google Classroom. And the time, and then I'll hit next. And then it'll either let me copy the link and give me the pin, or I can share it directly to Google Classroom. And that way they can go and look at it later. And so I'll choose my class in 2017, 2018, over there, and then we'll choose action, and then I'll create it as an assignment. And then I will push it out to them, and I will put on here, and then we'll assign. And then it'll be there for them. I can go back and look at it. It'll let me know when they finish. It'll let me know what they got right, and then I can print some reports from that. But that's a little different. That's for Google Classroom, and so we'll just go back and we'll finish talking about the different options in Kahoot. So I've done that. I hit done, and so now they can do that at any time. The play would be right then, and so we've already kind of looked at this, but you'll have a classic, and then you'll have a team mode. You can tell the kids what to pick. If you're one-to-one, obviously you can go classic. If you're in a classroom like we have, you're going to want to do team mode, so you have the option to have them work in groups and things like that. So again, when you hit team mode, it's going to come up. It's going to let them get into their teams. It's going to give them some time. It'll load, and they can share and all that. So then you have your code that comes up, and once they put in their code, then they can go ahead and put in their team name. Then after they put in their team name, then it'll give you the option to click start and to actually go ahead and start the game. Now, once you have, after they've played the game, and you can get your results, and it's really a good tool for you to get some quick formative assessment type data. Do you need to go on? Do you need to reteach? Are there any things that you need to actually go back and see what they didn't get, or maybe they made some errors on? Now, if we're going to create them, I'm going to go back, and I'm going to go back to the home page. So we're looking here, and we have 4 different versions that you can create. They used to have 3, and now they have a new one, and it's called Jumbled. And Jumble is one where it'll move your answers around for the different devices that they're on. So not everybody will have the same answers in the same spot. They'll be in different places for different people. From the home screen where you have Create the Kahoot, you can go to Quiz, and this is your simple, basic ask a question and put in an answer. So you might type in addition quiz. Now you have to have a title, and you have to have a description. So you can do something as simple as saying a hashtag with math so other people can find it, or you can put in hashtag second grade. Sorry about that. Or just hashtag addition. You have to have a title, you have to have the description, and you also have to have the audience. And that is where you can pick school or university. You know, of course, for us, we're going to pick school. And once you pick those three things, you're going to hit go. This will give you the opportunity to add your questions now. You click on add question, and then you put in your question. So 25 plus 14 equals. You can set your time limits to have 5, 10, and anywhere up to 120 seconds. So from 5 seconds to 2 minutes to answer a question. And then you'll put in your answers. You can either pick between 2 or 4. And then once you have that set up with your 4 answers or your 2 answers, make sure that you pick the right one. All right, so you can click on the check mark and it'll show up as green as being your right answer. Once you've done that, you'll click next. And then you have your question. It's part of your game, and you can go and you can add more. Same thing. Make sure that you have to have at least 2 answers, and you can put them in different areas so the kids don't get used to them. So, and then after you have put in your answers, make sure you pick the correct one. It'll turn green and you'll hit next. Then once you have put in all of your questions, you'll click save. And this will give you the opportunity to edit, to preview, to play it, or to share. If you want to, you can always come back to it. You can just click I'm done. Or if you want to play it right then, you can click play it and it'll give you your code. I'm going to hit I'm done, so I don't have to look at it right now. And then it's going to show up in your Kahoots. And it's going to give you the title, who it was created by, when they created it. You can delete it from here, or you can play, make it your favorite, or you can share it. Now, once you're at this screen, you can go back to the new Kahoot right here. And that is where you can get back to the 4 Kahoots. I'm going to click on Jumble. I want you to see the differences in Jumble and in just the regular quiz. So I'm gonna use the same thing. Addition quiz. Make sure that I have my hashtags on the hashtag math for this one. Now it's still visible to everyone. The language you can go in between. There's a whole bunch of languages that you can choose from. I'm gonna stick with English right now. And then the audience again is school. So once I've picked all of those, I'm gonna hit OK, go. And I'm going to add my jumble question. So same thing. I'm going to just do addition. So 25 plus 12. Now the difference between jumble and the quiz is you have to have, there's a note right here and it says, please add your answers in the correct order. The order will automatically be randomized during the game. So your correct answer is going to be 37. So it needs to be there for them to pick. You can also do this for least to great, or greatest to least to greatest, and just make sure you have those in the right order. I'm going to go back and I'm just going to put in some answers here. And then once I have them all in, I'm going to hit next, and then my question shows up. Once I'm done, I can hit save, and it'll give me the same options to edit it, preview, play, or share. Go back to I'm done. And then both quizzes will be here, and it'll let me know that one is jumbled and one is a regular quiz. Now, we'll go to My Kahoots. when you have Kahoots, I deleted most of them for just so they would all be here. But I can click on the thing, and again, I can hit play, I can challenge, and it's going to tell me how many questions, who's played it, how many players have been there, and all that. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to find a Kahoot. Let's just go to play Spooky Kahoot. Now, there are ones that are there for, like, Halloween, the history of Halloween in America, just a bunch of different topics that you can choose from. I'll go back to my Kahoot real fast. And then I'm going to play this one. So I'm going to use I'm going to use one-to-one. So I'm going to click on one-to-one. It's going to give me my information. I'm going to log in and actually play it so you can see what it would look like on your end. All right, so I've logged in. So I'm going to go to Start, and then it's going to show me on my tablet what the question is going to be. So I have 25 plus 12, and I'm going to pick my right answer. And so when you get it wrong, it'll tell you who got it right and who got it wrong. I'm hitting next, and then I want to get results. And this is where I would be able to see, did they get it right? And then what do I need to do? If I need to go back and reteach something, or or something like that. So I'm going to close out of this. I'm going to go back to Kahoot. And then I'm going to, if I don't want to, I'm going to delete it. And again, it tells you jumble or quiz. So I'm going to delete this one. And then I'm going to do the addition quiz. So you're seeing the screen that you would see as the teacher. I'm going to type in the code. Once all my contestants are in, I'm going to hit start. And it's going to ask me, are you ready? And this is what I see as a student on the screen. It's going to ask me the question and give me the opportunity to answer it. This will let everyone know, okay, either you got it right or you did not. And then once they have all answered, we'll hit next. It'll give them points. And once they see all the points, you can go to the next question. So here is this, and I can see that one person answered 25, one person answered 80, one person got it right, and 2 people got it wrong. To show me my results, it'll show us who's the winner, and then we can get our results. So Mr. Floyd won. Then we can either play again, we can save results, and I'll save the results. I always like to save them into my drive so I can look at them later. Or I can do a direct download and look at them right then, and I save to my drive. And we're going to save. It'll save it there, and I can look at it at a later date. All right. So once everything has been saved, I close out, and I close out of this again, and then I'm going to go back, and I'm going to create one more. And we're going to create a survey. Make sure that you put in your tag. Make sure you put in your audience. And okay, go. And here's your survey. You type in your question. This is going to have two answers. We're going to put in yes or no. Next. So it's a quick way. If you wanted to ask your kids some stuff about a story that you've just read, or did they understand a topic, yeah, you can do this survey and it'll just give you a quick yes or no if they got it, or whatever you want your answers to be. Hit save, and then I'm going to share it. And when you share, it's going to give you the link, so you can tweet it out, you can share it on Facebook, Pinterest, Google Plus, or you can email it, or just send the link and copy it. So there's my quizzes and my Kahoots. We've pretty much talked about everything that we have with Kahoot. We're going to leave it open for a little bit if there's any questions that you might want to ask. If you just type them into the chat bar, and that way we'll know what we're trying to ask there. So I'm going to thank you guys for coming by and seeing this today. If you would like to, you can follow me on Twitter at Floyd2nd and see what we got going on there.